So what we're going to use is one of these positive character ed trait sheets. So I have a bunch of words on here in the back, and then I also have a bunch of words here on the front. If you don't know the definition of a word, you can ask a friend next to you, you can ask Mrs. Plummer, but most of us, this should probably be within our vocabulary range, but it's okay not to know everything. You're going to find about 6 positive character traits that you feel represent you. Okay, and that's what we're going to be writing on our portrait, right? So I'm going to look on here and I say, for me, what I feel one that represents me is kind. So I'm going to use a lighter color and I'm going to write one spot in here, the word kind. Then I might want to switch up my colors and I'm going to use white. I won't see it right now, but it will look really neat when I go in with my bleeding tissue later. So let's see, sometimes I would say, well, obviously I'm very artistic. I would hope I am, being the art teacher. So I'm going to use that word, and I'm using this sheet because it definitely helps me come up with some ideas of what to write about myself. And then I'm going to do persistent. Sometimes I can be very persistent if I feel a certain way about something. Okay, and maybe I'll switch to another color, like a light pink, observant. And notice how I'm going in different directions with these. It's going to make my eye move around the page, so you want to fill up the space. You don't want to put all your letters in one spot, fill the space up. So where is that observant one? Because I want to make sure I spell it right. Observant. And I'm really honest. I'm not a good liar. I always tell the truth. So I am going to write with my oil pastel, get a new color, and the space that I've left over. Honest. That's the only thing with the white oil pastel. Sometimes I save those for last because it is really hard to see those sometimes. Okay, so I have these all set. Now what we're going to use is you're going to pick between warm or cool color pieces of bleeding tissue paper. I used cool in mine. I'm going to continue to use that. Please don't mix them. We want to stay within a color scheme so that our colors blend nicely. That's the reason for using color schemes, so that we don't get any colors that we didn't plan on having, like brown. Usually doesn't look too good in this portrait. We don't want them to get too dark. So I'm going to stick with cool colors. And with this paper, it's not watercolor paper, friends, so just do a nice light layer with your brush of some water, and then we're going to make sure we only get one at a time. We're going to take that bleeding tissue paper, and then after we stuck it right on top where we just applied the water, I'm going to add a little bit more water to my brush, and now I'm going to paint that on. And you'll notice some of the color will start to blend outwards. Okay, and we're just going to let that happen because that's what these are called. They're pieces of bleeding tissue paper. Next time when you come in, you're actually going to take these off, and they're going to be really vibrant, and it kind of look like tie-dye. So as you notice, when it starts to get really wet on my paper, I don't have to keep going into the water, but once I notice that these little bleeding tissue papers are not sticking good enough, then I definitely want to add some more water. So like right here, I know I'm going to have to spread a little more water out. And I'm going to keep going. You're only going to have today to do this, so you want to make sure that you are doing your best to really get this covered. So notice I can overlap shapes, all right? We want to get every little space filled up. I'm noticing it's getting really wet and puddled in the middle, so I'm trying to not add too much more water on my brush because that definitely can ruin the paper. We don't have watercolor paper for this project, so we have to be careful. Okay, so like I said, you're going to keep going. You can overlap your shapes. You want to get the edges. This entire thing is going to be completely covered with these, and then we'll place it on the drying rack for them to be peeled off next week. And you'll see wherever the shapes are going to be really vibrant. It's going to look great. You just have to make sure that you cover every little spot. So like right here, I see I have an empty spot. I've got to get that covered because otherwise it will not look as nice when it's done. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.